You got it all good? All set up?
Yeah, other than
Oh, yeah.
that.
How's it going, Kelsey?
It's going.
Yeah.
I'm hoping today I can get updated with deeds, so.
Oh, okay.
That was finally
Yes.
done. I spent all weekend looking up the legal descriptions so I could have the quick reference and stuff, so we got referred to the address, so.
Very good.
Yeah. It was a long weekend. Then I forgot my glasses, so.
Oh.
Yeah. Good thing I can still see.
Oh, that's good. I would have to go home.
Home and get them, yeah. No, but I just have a nerve in my eye. It doesn't relax. So like when you're straining to look at things and you look up, it's supposed to relax, and mine don't.
Oh.
And so I have to wear glasses to help that muscle just kind of relax a little bit, not that it works hard.
Okay.
So yeah, I have 20/20 vision, but I have to wear glasses.
Oh, no kidding.
Yep.
Wow.
Been wearing glasses, I think, because of that. Most of my adult life, yeah.
Good morning.
I think I was 18.
Hi, Jim.
Morning.
Good morning. I think your phone was going off, by the way. There was some
Probably.
noises over there.
I'm kind of a big deal. No, I'm kidding.
That's why you came in faster than late.
Oh,
You
I
had to
got
make
it.
an appearance.
Oh my gosh.
I told you it was going on.
Text, calls. Wow.
Boy. All your friends called you all
Well, they're wanting to get fertilizer and stuff spread today, and then I don't.
Yeah.
That clock just isn't cutting the mustard.
Well, I have
Batteries
this.
must be dead.
Yeah.
Oh,
Your clocks having issues. Take that baby down and put a new battery in. We were already up. No, we're not. We're actually behind.
Yeah, we are. Oh, wait, I was trying to text you guys. You ready to start?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Morning. How are you?
Sorry.
I'm doing well.
Yes.
You had a good week.
Yeah, it's fun.
You have 2 kids,
3.
3 of them, but only 2 went on the trip with you?
No, 3 all went.
Oh, okay. I guess I only
Only
saw a
2
picture of.
Only 2 played golf.
Oh, that's why I only saw a picture of 2.
My youngest used to play all the time, and then 2 years ago she said, hey, I don't want any more of that. So she doesn't play it all now.
Interesting. Hey, Jeff, this is your license.
Yeah, I was having a day.
No, I'm just letting you know. Yeah. I'm not making you look at it. I'm just saying.
I have made some calls on that fuel bill.
So what do you think?
Fuel bill.
Talk about what you know.
I talked to 3 people and they're like, we're not seeing it go down. I mean, it might taper off, but they're not seeing it going down. And that's basically coming from Cenex and Dark Oil. So,
Yeah. It may fluctuate and go crazy back and forth.
yeah, I mean, yeah, it's a guessing game. So,
Did Kelsey, that thing that Bailey sent out with the minutes didn't have an attachment on it. I didn't open it until the weekend, so I never did say
Okay.
anything back to her, but.
I went ahead, well, that's good, because I went ahead and printed off. If you want, I can email you all that copy.
Yeah, if you could, please, that way we don't have a copy to look at.
Is this the? Well, that's just last week.
Yes. Once I get my computer on.
Did have a couple questions on Indeed, of why we did stuff. Probably one's for Mike when he gets in here.
That was on the 16th, right? Was that 16th?
Yeah, 14.
No, I mean the AP, when it's, no, it's on, yeah, 16th. You want to tell him about that water tank that was there, or did we tell him before I think we did decide that?
We went ahead and, did you ever listen to the meeting? Okay, so the tank and all that downstairs for that, not the boiler, but whatever the heating system is.
Yeah.
We went ahead and purchased a new tank, not just the baffles inside. We bought the whole brand new bottle wax for twice as much as what the baffles would have been a repair.
Well, how much is that?
6,000. Just over 6,000. So we figured that probably is the best way to go.
It's $6,309.
Because there was no guarantee that the tank wasn't going to be rusted out once they
Right.
got it there.
What's the name of that company that's gonna?
P1.
Okay.
Do you want that on here? That if he won for 6,000, it's not on the minutes. It just gives us $6,309.
But it's, I haven't seen those yet, so I don't know.
When are they planning on doing that? You know, did they have a set time for?
He didn't tell us, but I don't know.
Well,
But our feeling was, you know, it's like work. How work you? If the bathroom by useful place to get money.
Oh, yeah.
We didn't figure you'd have trouble with it. But that's about the big thing.
I'm not good, but no, just, you know.
It's too late, the motion is already passed.
We're doing it. We just want to make you up to date with some free resume.
It's already happened.
Is that, so you couldn't go out for bids on that deal for really, could you, because they're familiar with the thing, right?
Yeah, that's their system.
There was something from P1 that came in the minutes today.
Do what?
There was something that came in from
Okay.
P1, so I don't know if it has an exact amount in there.
You want that there?
Yeah, thank you. And it says this is payroll from 3/4. We keep forgetting to sign that. We've approved that one. And now we have payroll from March 18th. The gross amount is $136,285.36.
So,
All in favor? Aye.
how much was it?
136,000. Here's an abatement, looks like truck got sold. So we're looking at a negative $316.90. You guys okay, go ahead and do that one? You gonna make that motion then?
Yeah. So,
All in favor? Aye.
oh yeah, by the way, when you guys have a funeral next time, we won't be changing the meeting, didn't change it for me, so we ain't doing that.
I was gone, I'm sorry, I told her to tell you, I'm sorry.
I told you I was gonna give you guys crap, but, you know,
I was good for whatever day.
Yeah, yeah.
I know.
I do whatever to accommodate, I don't care, but we already had that plan, so.
We're gonna be down to 2 no matter which way we go.
I'm sure you had that plan before Clem's dad passed away, you know what I mean?
A little bit, yeah, I couldn't back out of the room, we got stuck on that one. I had some upset kids, Jeff, I'm like, oh, I feel good crap.
We knew it was gonna come though, or I didn't know you went to funeral, what else was it?
Whose funeral was it?
Oh, a buddy of ours out in Western, yeah, Syracuse.
Oh. Looks like
His
Shauna's
dad passed away.
Shauna's wanting us to remove Kelsey off of the credit card from the Commerce Bank and needs my signature to do so, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Can I get a motion for that, guys? We'll look at that.
So maybe,
All in favor? Aye. Did you sign that?
Not yet. Let me do it.
Okay, because Hannah keeps that, so I can back it in. That's from March 4th.
We'll get some more. Try to put
one thing I
attention
think needs to be
here.
there is that P1 needs to be on there, so we know who we paid the $6,000 to, but that's just my opinion on that.
Yeah, it probably needs to be on there, doesn't it?
I agree.
Oh, boy.
Eddie, you should be getting that email for the minutes.
That
I
one,
sent it as the Word document. Because this computer's run kind of slow, so.
Darren, you remember when this motion to approve and the inordinate spending for vehicle improvement in the amount of $4,455, what vehicle was that one? You remember?
It was that county pickup, wasn't it? Or is that the right one?
Well, that's what I was thinking too, is the one we bought.
You pick that back from this.
The wrecked one,
Did
then
you,
we're fixing.
did you sign the title on it?
Is that the one that we bought back and we're repairing, correct? We probably need to make sure that we have that listed for what that's for. So there's one change on there, Kelsey, motion to approve inordinate spending, not inordinate spend. And we probably need to know,
What vehicle, what thousands being
yeah,
spent on?
don't you guys think?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's just like that in a week's time, we've already forgotten.
Where's the other stuff we're trying to remember too, along with this?
Huh?
It's hard
I know.
to remember all that for a week.
Because I'm ready to start with Mike and Sheena.
Yeah.
Come on up, guys.
Yeah, 15 to 4, you're running a little late, aren't you?
Hey, you trying to get out here before 5, Mike, all right?
We changed that clock last week and it's still
Might be early, might be AM.
All right, if it is, I'm not here. They're working on your bridge today over there,
Really?
trying to get that.
That's pretty amazing how that, I mean, I don't know why they wouldn't have, like we talked about, why they wouldn't have just, how are they gonna do it? They're just played on
I
top of
think
it
they're
a
gonna
little
put a
bit.
flag on it, dig it out, put a flag on it, weld it,
Yeah.
cover it back up. They should have that in there, they're working on it now.
Do you think it really probably hasn't separated? It couldn't have separated.
No,
It's
they
just,
put the
it's
sheeting,
just sitting like that now, right?
they put the sheeting half sheet.
I know, but it's got a gap in it, what was it like that? I thought it was more like that, wasn't it?
No, I dug it out, it was only about a half
Okay.
inch, that's still too much.
Yeah.
So they should get it fixed today.
Thanks to the local farmers, we'd have been in a lot more money on that one than.
Yeah, I was looking at the edge of the bridge, I didn't even look on top, I didn't
Yeah.
even.
Well, when he told me they fixed the north end a few years ago, I thought he said south end. Well, I didn't notice all that dirt separating in the middle of the bridge.
Yeah, it was just split in half.
Yeah. How are they gonna get that dirt off? Cause they can't really use a skid loader.
Very careful, probably shovel, and they wouldn't have to do that wide,
That's true.
and that's not that thick.
Yeah. If I was doing it, with a skid loader, I'd dang sure probably catch
Cancel it
that.
off.
Yeah. With the clear off.
Okay. Oh, yeah.
That one, Cather Bridge has been pulled out. Henderson is next. We gotta get somebody to move their fence off of it to make sure we don't have any loose cattle. And then we'll pull out Henderson Bridge.
Henderson is out.
It's already out there.
Well, the bulkhead has got the fence tied to it, but that's the old road.
Oh, okay. I thought that was Cather. Whatever. We're ripping out bridges right and left. That's the plan anyway.
good.
Yeah, the Thomas Pit will be next after the city of Anthony gets their utility poles moved all the way, and then we'll go in there and rip that out. So, I talked to Astra Energy this morning, that's who has our fuel. Last week it was like 367, 348, 435. This morning it is 435.
Oh.
So, he said it's up like 22 cents as of 8:51 already this morning. It changes basically every 5 minutes. So I don't know what y'all want to do, but I don't want to lock in at that price. So that's a fun game we're playing there.
Oh, yeah.
So what it's gonna take is somebody watching that pretty close to know if it's changing that quick, and she can't pull that trigger, he can't pull that trigger on their own, so. If
Well,
it's fluctuating that fast,
that's the thing. They're gonna need an answer like that.
yeah, so you're gonna
So-
check
we
some
can't-
morning and come in, and that's.
We can't just use from anybody? Are you guys already set up on a contract or how that, I can't remember what Shonda was telling me.
But
We're not on contract.
No,
We're not on contract with anybody, but Astra Energy delivers fuel to Anthony Co-op, to
Right.
Progressive Ag, which just got bought by somebody else, and they're who does our fuel deliveries.
Right.
And then we use Dark Oil in Attica.
So you do use dark, okay.
Yeah,
Because over the years, honestly, my opinion, dark's been the cheapest.
they usually are.
as of last week when I asked him, his quote was higher than Progressive's was at the time. But again, it's gonna be, I'm sure, completely different. I didn't ask him this morning.
Last year you didn't have a problem in dealing up like you did, you didn't have the problem in Attica like you did over here.
Yeah.
I'm not interested in contracting right now anyway, personally.
Well, no, I'm not either, but.
But if we get to that point, that's gonna be a problem, is how are we gonna pull that trigger, because it's moving so fast. that By the time she comes up here and tells us, she goes back down there and it can be changed pretty quick.
Pretty much, yeah. So,
That's a tough call, and
Except that we
we're gonna
never-
make the wrong call no matter what on that.
we never did lock in anything last year. We didn't do any contracting, so.
Well, I mean, I don't have a problem. Darren's ahead of Road and Bridge. She could call him. Honestly.
I don't think he's gonna want that.
Well, I mean,
And
I'm just saying, I mean, what
Well, I
else
can't do-
what else you
I don't
gonna do?
think
You
he
gotta
can.
pull the trigger at some point.
I don't think he can make that decision on his own.
Yeah.
Is that, it's gotta be all like official meeting, like.
You know?
Yeah, you have to have authorization to make that call and that kind of.
Right, I just didn't know if I could do, the group email. with-
Cause I can see him locking it in at 4:30, and then the next day you and I can be like, what did you do that for? It's 3:30.
Well, but it can go the other way too.
Yeah,
So,
Mhm. Yeah,
I don't know.
I personally, I think it may go up, but I think,
So what you're saying you've done in the past is you contracted it?
No.
You didn't?
Mm-mm.
How'd you do it in the past?
I don't know that I remember having a contract on fuel since I've been on commission.
Well, how'd you do it in the past? Who pulled the trigger?
We did.
we just buy it, just have them fill it up, we just go buy it.
But the other problem is like she said, every 5 minutes the price changes. So we could pull the trigger, used to be, if we were gonna do it.
That's
We
what I'm
talked
saying,
about it in the
like
past.
4 years ago or whenever it kept doing that.
I don't think it's fluctuating as quick as it is right now.
yeah. I think
Because
it's
we
just
could talk about it and
steadily
it would
going
stay
up.
there for a day or two before we have to do anything about it.
Yeah. And this is
But
like,
the
he's
fuel-
telling me the price is gonna be different by 9:30, so.
Yeah.
See, you
Yeah.
contract it, but now you can go down here and buy it, that's, the price is set, cause they got the price posted. They're not changing theirs every 5 minutes either.
We can't.
Right. No,
So, their fuel down here may still be 369, tomorrow may be 423 or whatever it is, right?
right,
Depends on what happens to the market at the end of the day.
yeah.
Because it's already up $7 or $8, $6.75 today.
Exxon's up from Friday,
Yeah.
quite a bit.
I don't
Uh-huh.
know. Yeah.
So it's a really kind of dicey game, so I don't know what you guys want to do.
We're probably not.
Yeah, I feel
Right
like
now.
nobody's real enthused about it, and that's okay. I'm not real enthused about 435
It's
either.
gonna be tough figuring out what the right answer is for that.
You're not gonna get the right answer, because if you contract it at 369, next week it's gonna be 325.
Yeah.
There is no right answer.
Well, I guess 3-month contracts would probably be the easier way to reconcile that if we're going to contract instead of a whole 9-month contract or
Probably so.
year. Probably a shorter time period.
Probably
So,
so. Or just hang on for the ride.
and just try to conserve fuel.
Yeah.
So,
Sell some weed, pay for fuel.
So all
And she probably has, do you have the fuel today? Did you, where we're at tracking? You good?
No, not as of today.
Okay.
Yeah.
and that's really all I have. Fuel prices was my main thing
All right.
today.
Goodbye.
So fuel prices was my main thing today. We do have KDOT coming in.
What's your What are you staffed now? You're on 4 days a week, right?
Yes.
Okay, you got,
Jumping the guys around, some are working Friday, some are working Monday.
okay. You okay with that? Where do you fix?
So far, I think Janice is working every day, 5 days a week. Until my obvious day, so.
Well, if she's doing that, do we have a need to offset it? If you've at least got someone that
We
can go.
don't, but
Well, Mike's working, I think we ought to be half and half, personally, that's what I think. Everybody works Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday the same, and some of them, half of them work on Monday, half of them work on Friday.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is if he and Janice are around
we've
on
got
that,
grader operators, I mean,
on that off day, if those guys are around, what's the need to have that confusing schedule? Just have Monday through Thursday, and he and Janice are both here on Friday. If something happens, she can go out,
I agree with that, but there are some guys that are wanting to work.
So,
So you do have guys that are okay with that?
Yeah.
So-
It's working.
Okay.
I guess my question is, so you're gonna have them two here just in case something happens, we're wanting to not run the graders
Yeah, they're not
5 days a week.
They're not going to be out running the graders.
So what's there's a reason to have them work 5 days a week.
Because you want somebody here on the off day.
We will, if you run 5 days a week, or 4 days a week, and just offset their days. Want some on Monday and some on Friday.
Well, if you have 4 days a week, I'm here, Janice is here, we're both grader operators.
But then you run the grader 5 days a week.
No,
She's not running the grader on Friday unless,
There's an emergency or something needed for it.
right,
if we got them shut down, then
because that's the thing, we have some people off on Monday and some people off on Friday, so those operators are already running on Friday. Janice is just there to put out fires. But if you guys are wanting to just do Monday through Thursday, I mean, I don't know that we'd still be running a grader on Friday. There's other projects to get
not
caught
if we
up on.
can avoid it.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, I'd rather have half of them work on Monday and the other half work on Friday. That's what, I mean, so you have half of
In which, that's what he's got him set up to.
Well, not half and half.
We're close, something like that.
Yeah, there's somebody
It's working.
every day.
And the reason is, well, we're still getting 5 days a week of work when we're spreading it out different. I mean, I think it's still better.
So what you're saying is having Mike here one day and Janice here the next.
He's working 5 days a week no matter
Oh,
what.
no matter what, okay.
Because he's salary.
No, that's true.
And Janice is just working still straight 40 hours, so she's just on 8-hour days, not 10.
And I assume you got, I assume you didn't say it, but you probably have some, I mean, the crew cutting trees on, I don't know what you're,
Trees right now.
I didn't know what you're doing. I think you said something about it. I got something to sell you. 842 numbers and,
The warranty's expired.
yeah, it probably has. But, anyway. They got a lot of jobs security doing that, believe me. Went down some road sheet.
With trees.
Oh,
Years of this, not anything like that.
Thanks for posting that, Mike,
Posting.
my picture.
I didn't post it, I sent
It
it
says
to
Mike
you.
Bennett.
I sent it to you, I didn't post it.
I haven't seen it.
No, everyone.
Checking that bridge, he was running away from the
I
camera.
was trying to get out of his way and
He said, take my picture, and he posed, and he started running. So I took a picture.
You wearing shorts and flip flops and stuff?
I'm not gonna say.
Because I want to see that.
I was trying to run. I just started to run. I look like a goober.
Well,
Oh, yeah, nice guy.
it's more than a look, Jeff. It's more than a look.
Pulled my hand, they trying to get out of the way.
Oh, you gotta be careful. Thank you, guys.
You're welcome.
Yeah, thanks. man.
Next time, send that to all of us next time, right?
Fruit message. Fruit.
Yeah, don't just send it to him, I mean, that's not
First
fun.
birthday picture opportunity.
Well, he told me he didn't get it.
Did I?
He told me he didn't get it.
If you had said to us, we would make sure he got it.
Yeah. Yeah, had a picture on the back of his chair or something.
I don't remember, was that was after I got back from, yeah, that was before I got back from school.
Yeah.
Did you see what, I can show you what that bridge did.
Is that what you're talking about in the middle there?
Right down the middle. See, it's got that, well, I don't remember what they call that sheeting, but,
Wasn't half and half.
It's cheating.
so they ran it like this into the middle. They got a gap in there and all that dirt, and it's caving in.
Was that about to be a problem?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, they said, Randy said at the north end, it would eventually, it'd cost us a lot more money.
You haven't heard back from bridge inspection at all yet? I think that's a good sign.
Quit asking.
Well, I'm just saying, I think that's a good sign if we haven't heard anything yet.
I don't know about that. I think they're still compiling a really gnarly report.
Yeah, but if there were emergencies, we would have known pretty
Right, we
quick.
did just have the one emergency one, but.
I think he's out of here.
Scott?
Yeah. I thought I saw him walk by, if that's the same guy, I think. That's all that.
Transfers on that. Don't want to forget that. We'll have to take care of
It's like a novel.
And part of the reason I waited is because of our period 13 transfers
That's
to
me.
audit and all that,
Yeah.
so got them all caught up with audit again, so.
Come on up.
How are you, Scott?
I'm not Scott.
You're not.
I really think we need to wait for Scott to get here. but-
Oh, he is coming. I didn't hear you say that. Okay.
So that Terry, so grab the.
Okay, you look different than anybody else. The only name I have here is Scott.
Okay.
What is your name?
I'm Brent Turster.
Brent?
Yes.
Nice to meet you, Brent. I'm Brian.
Nice to meet you, Brian.
Aaron. And Jeff.
Darren, nice to meet you.
Already good.
Can I ask how you spell your last name?
Sure, it's T-E-R.
There he is. Now, he looks familiar.
Yeah.
S-T-R.
Scott?
Hello.
You did for me.
His name is Brett. Brent.
Oh.
Brent, okay.
Yeah,
Thank you.
yeah.
I can say.
How are you doing?
Good.
Good. And you got Scott. This is Scott. We thought he was Scott at first.
Oh.
Anyway, you're here to go over the detour agreement?
Yes,
Okay.
I know we had talked a little bit, when I was because the last time we had talked about going to well, anyway, at the time we had wanted to make a cash offer, and you guys had suggested the possibility of doing a reimbursement, and we wrote up the original agreement with that. I think it came, and you requested a change to go to a third party mediate in case there was any disagreements on that. I don't know, we changed that agreement. And then Sheena contacted me, a week or so ago and said that you were requesting another change to possibly have the actual inspections done by a third party. And I think in discussing that with my boss, Brent, and with our attorney, we're kind of, I think we're a little concerned about going with that option. I mean, I don't think we have a problem with, we obviously don't, we try to go through these projects, we try to document these, and as best we can, we'll certainly document it as extensively as anybody wants before the action, but I think Heather Hall, which is our staff attorney, she was a little concerned about, I didn't know how Brent,
Well, yeah, I mean, just like Scott's saying, we don't have a third party involved when we do our current projects. We do haul roads, we take our waste from projects, or just hauling materials across roads. We do an inspection with the locals and KDOT, and then we tell a contractor to fix it. So we're not used to enter into agreement with third party. So we're very reluctant to try to do something like that. Things we've done on state route detours, quite a few different things. Lump sum payments. We've had counties come up with pricing, what they think it costs to put our traffic on it and submit it, and paid in a monthly installment. And we've had things where we go in and fix them afterwards. So we've had quite a few options, but we have not had to have a third party involved.
And where we're coming from, I'll let you guys hear in a second, I guess. I don't know if you want. We've got experience with the wind farm through that road up there. And just to keep everybody on the same page, that third party really worked out better than just having, our opinion versus the contractor's opinion. It just worked out better. Or not the contractor, but in the case of the wind farm, to have that third party. That way it wasn't us against them. It put it all out front. We knew what it was when we went into it. We knew what it was when we came out of it. We knew what needed to be fixed. And I think you guys were on board when we did that, correct? That last time around, anyway.
We just went on, I think, yeah.
And it kept it a heck of a lot easier than us coming back saying, well, here's this, and then you disagreeing with us on maybe damage was on the road. And there must have been some miscommunication from the get-go on this, because I think I've asked for the third party kind of since the beginning of this whole process, and it just never got stuck into that contract.
Could you tell me what that looks like for you for a third party?
As far as our expense,
No, I mean, we've not done third party, so could you explain that, how you did it in your wind farms?
I'd have to go back and make sure. I think there was an engineer that was hired somewhere, and we'd have to dig through the minutes to figure out who that was. And that expense, when we did it at the time, was covered by the wind farm wanting to use that road.
What do we need to do different down here then? I don't think the third party one is something that the state's entered into before. Is there something else we could do?
The main thing is I don't want to leave taxpayers with a road that's not fixed, and that's not the way it was when the agreement was entered into. That's the main thing I'm after.
I remember being down here quite some time ago when the wind farms were coming in, and I remember somebody saying that they just tear the roads up, they pull a dozer in, just destroy them, and then they leave. And so we don't want to do that to the county at all. I mean, that's not our intent. Like I say, we've done things where we've given payments out as the county submits something. We did that on example was in Reno County, the old route K14 going from Arlington up to US 50. We use that as a state route detour. We pay them a set amount every month to use it. So there are examples out there that we've done, but have not had a third party involved on these.
See, and that's what you bring up the wind farm. That's the nightmare in the back of my head, that there were some things going on with the wind farm before I was even involved on commission. That I remember the struggle they went through. I don't want to have to deal with that. And I don't want the next commission to have to deal with some of that stuff either. So I think everybody's.
Yeah, because we don't want to get to where we go up there and I don't know what we're not professionals about roads by no means, I wouldn't say, none of us three are. But we go up there and we say, well, this is not right, and you guys say, yes, it is. Well, then where are we at then? I mean, if you have somebody else inspect the highway and say, well, this is not right, and somebody other than us two, this is not right, you need to fix it, well, then we know where we're at. Because it's just us against Harper County, against the state or whatever, if you don't. That's where we're sitting at. Because you guys, I mean, the state may say, well, this thing, there's nothing wrong with this road, we didn't do it, we're not gonna fix it, and then we're gonna say, yeah, that was not the way it was before, and then where we at?
Scott, I'm open to any other ideas you may have on this one.
Plus, I mean, we're a little gun show. We got another deal.
We're
Fighting right now too, and you know, as commissioners, you know, we got to protect our public because they know what those roads are like, and we're just trying to cover our own butts. So
This agreement here is a little bit different than a lots of them, because there's no agreement on a set dollar amount on this one with Harper County. Normally, there's a set dollar amount, up to a certain amount is what we pay on some of these items. This one does not have that, but this is an official detour too, so it's a little bit different, right, Scott?
Yes.
So, well, I mean, I don't think we're gonna get to the point of having a third party come in and do the inspection on this one, Scott, so we may have to look at other options, I guess.
Well, I know we had discussed, mediation, so but we don't feel like that's a sufficient. If we get to the end and we don't have KDOT, we try to be good neighbors with all of our local governments, especially, even times we deal with the unofficial detours, which if we ran a long detour around on the state highway system, we would know that sometimes we put traffic on county roads. We've always tried to be the good neighbor, but we do understand your guys' point that you've dealt with wind farms and people who just destroy roads. We're certainly hoping this is a much shorter, much lower volume. We can obviously legally keep all the super loads and any of the extra large loads off this route. It'll be just more or less strictly local traffic, but
there ain't no guarantee in that either. I mean, you're not gonna have somebody camping out there when you watch that.
Well, we do routing for for our oversized overweight loads. I mean, we have a routing system they have to go through.
Right, okay.
Mike, what are your thoughts?
Well, I kinda agree with Darren, I mean, if a third party makes sense to me.
I mean, we want to be good neighbors too. I mean, because I understand the reason why you need that there, but then again, we have all these highways that we got some major concern with. And if we don't do this right, then in 2 or 3 years, there's going to be a whole room full of people in here wondering how come we didn't get it fixed.
And then we don't have the money to fix it.
And then we don't have the money to fix it.
Would it be easier to look at this on what your normal maintenance would be on that section of roadway, when your next overlay would be on that section of roadway for the county, and then kind of coming up with an idea of what you think putting it in service from our traffic for a little while would do to that route, and kind of coming up with a number on, agreeing on a number at a time, or
What's your expected traffic that's gonna be going over that?
I have to pull the data out, I don't have that with me.
Oh, I don't have it either. I want to say it's approximately 500 vehicles. I mean, K42 has approximately 500 vehicles a day on it, and about 70 to 80 trucks, depending on the exact location. I guess we'd have to assume that all of those would take the detour, although I think we know a lot of them are probably locals that would not drive through Harper County. But, so I think you'd see a jump from about 100 and, I can't remember, I looked this up, I'm sorry, I didn't bring that information. I think that road probably has around 100 vehicles a day. Is it?
That's probably about right.
So you could potentially see it for about a 5 to 6 month window there. It could jump to as much as, say, 600 vehicles a day.
For how long?
Oh, I would conservatively 5 to 6 months. I would like to think we could get the project done earlier, but I don't want to make a promise that we can't keep, and if weather interferes or
Because probably our traffic now on that road is, Mike, you have any idea how much water traffic would be up there right now?
I wouldn't have a clue.
I would say it's not that many. Your local
That's
people.
maybe. I think I looked it up one time, but maybe 100 vehicles a day. I don't really know.
So you're at least 3 or 4 times in a day, probably. Just guessing.
Probably for that time period.
And you were wanting to start when?
This project, we have an overlay coming on K42, so I think we're pushing the bridge actually back to next year. So I think they could start sometime after January, I believe is the start date. I have it.
That sounds right to me.
Yeah,
We were gonna do the bridge this fall, but we pushed it because of overlay.
Yeah, trying not to have two projects occupying the same spot at the same time.
So you guys are absolutely saying we're not doing third party?
Well, I mean, I think I can tell you, Scott and I are going out on a limb here, because we don't know what's gonna happen to this road exactly. I mean, we don't anticipate an issue, but, I understand your position either. You don't know what's gonna happen to the roadway either, so sometimes we agree right up front, we'll pay a certain amount of money, and if the roadway, we think we get something beforehand, then we'll try to do that ahead of time, or we do a lump sum agreement afterwards, or payment along the way.
You're looking roughly 60,000 cars, just if you did
For
for
that time period.
right.
What's the condition of the road now? I understand it's in decent shape.
I would hope so.
I haven't drove it lately, but last time I was up there, it was a pretty decent road.
Probably one of the better ones.
It is. And I don't know that it gets quite the traffic as some of our other roads either. I mean, the last time I drove it was in good shape. Mike, you been out lately?
I mean, it's not bad at all.
I don't know, I guess to me, that's just the best way to keep everybody friends walking away from this deal, is to have that third party. That way there's no opinions, if something's wrong in a year from now, that keeps us from having to hire
And then,
another attorney. That I don't want to spend any more money on attorneys to try to fix problems that we're already dealing with enough attorneys to fix problems in the past, so.
We had a little bit of time on this one. Would you be willing to give any consideration into the rental?
I think that's what we said at the beginning, we didn't want to have anything to do with that, right? Kind of that.
Guess I don't remember that part, but explain
Possibly
that.
come up with a dollar amount you think it costs to put our traffic on your road, and we pay a monthly amount on that.
I've never thought about that individually.
The examples I've seen is it takes this much to maintain that road. I gotta put an
Right.
overlay on it every so often, so I know what that cost is. The state throwing the traffic on it makes, the traffic increase by so much. I anticipate I'll have to put an overlay on it this much sooner. Here's what your percentage of that cost would be, and then we come to agreement on that.
So they don't want to think about it?
Well, I was gonna say, you said we got some time, so we can discuss this. You guys can go back to your people. I mean, at least throw the third party at them. If they,
I mean, because the third party actually is a benefit for you guys too. Because if your third party comes in and says, hey, we have to fix it this way, or the road is this, whatever, if something happens, you got the same legal, because we say, I mean, that guy's supporting you guys also, right? If he fixes it, if he says it needs to be done this way, it's done that way, it happens, something happens.
My view on these are so different. We gotta put something in to keep traffic on 42. I gotta throw a shoe fly in and spend 500, 600 grand on that bridge. Otherwise, I could give the county the money and hopefully we don't even need it for the road. So, I mean, that's my view. I'd rather give the money to you guys than go waste it on a shoe fly that we're gonna tear out at the end of the job. Hopefully, that could all work out in everybody's benefit. But we don't wanna leave Harper County with a piece of junk at the end. So, maybe we could all think about it a little bit more.
yeah, let's do that.
So, that sound fair to you, Scott?
Yes.
Maybe you and I get a little bit more on the same page on this one before we come back down and.
Give us some numbers, that'd be great. You know, estimate time, how long that, before you resurface, you guys deal with concrete or asphalt more than we do, right? I mean, you got some numbers for us?
What's that number?
For like the resurfacing, how long?
Well, like I say, normally that's provided by the county. They'll provide an estimate what it costs to do the road, to maintain it, and then what anticipated change will be for putting traffic on. It's paid whether you do work or not.
Right, yeah, okay.
So the third party one is, third party says, that road's great, you don't need to do anything, then we just all.
There's no money exchange, yeah.
So I mean, there's, anyway, I can tell you though, there's a lot of truth, there's 100% truth to what I said on, I don't like throwing money away for shoe flies, I'd rather give it away to the locals than
Right.
take it out.
I agree.
And I'd rather protect that road for future generations. than-
Understand.
You know, that's, you and I have different positions here, because we're both answering to different people.
We're adding traffic to it,
Right,
we understand,
yeah,
you have to protect it, you have to protect it.
right.
So, if you wanna maybe think about that option, I guess Scott and I could talk more about the third party.
How much time you wanna, I mean, you talking a couple weeks, a month?
They're on a tighter schedule than we are, I think.
Yeah, we can, I mean, we think we could, and, yeah. We're in
So about a month or so, Shonda, yeah.
I'm okay with doing it in a couple of weeks too,
Yeah.
I think we'll be ready by then.
Or just give Shonda a holler, and you guys,
So,
Yeah.
what I think I understand is you're gonna think about maybe a different option, and we're gonna go back and listen to the third party, and then we'll be back in touch.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
All right.
exactly.
Okay. Anything else you need from us?
I don't know what it'd be. Probably not gonna get it this, so. We're trying to keep the money coming.
But one thing to think about, before you go, that road is not marked as far as paint, center line, that type of stuff, so there'd be some extra expense. You know that, you've driven that road, you've seen that, so.
And, I think we've done that before down here, right, Scott? Or was that Kyle?
That was,
Or,
Barber County, I
Yeah, I
know.
was gonna say, I don't think any of our paved roads are.
Well, they're not marked, then it's been like, which, put it somewhere else.
So, that roadway would have center line when we put traffic on it, and it would have edge line, right, Scott? Minimum of center line?
I think it's where we've always put, at least put a minimum of the edge line on them. I know, King County does edge line only, and I don't believe you guys aren't doing either.
No,
So,
no, because at the time it was like $1 a foot for paint, if it's probably through the road.
Really?
It's pretty expensive, that's why we.
Well, we'll talk about it a little bit more and get back there in a couple of weeks. Any other questions for us before we leave?
Get something worked out, yeah.
I'm good.
All right.
Thanks.
Thank you. Coming in, appreciate it.
Thanks, Scott. Thanks, Brett. Nice to meet you.
See you later. And get here safe on the way back, okay?
Jan, you are up.
Well, that's the inordinate spending for the new ambulance, and I'd really like to get that purchased this time, because I have to reschedule everything that I had lined up for it, so.
226,
You have Sean to send him a message, tell him I want me to come in later on.
Yeah, we have.
Is he on today again?
Nope, that's them.
We'll meet with Mike again at wherever,
Amy's at
11 o'clock.
10:05, so about 11.
11 o'clock or so.
yeah.
Jan has an inordinate spending for $226,727.28 for the new ambulance. Can I have a motion for that? So moved. All in favor?
You missed last week, Jeff. We don't know anything got done.
We were out of here so quick.
Hey. I can't keep my mouth shut.
That's probably why we were out so quick last year.
And so the ambulance that got hit by the deer in October, and it's been held up because the body shop could not get the part it needs to fix it.
Yeah?
Imagine that.
So he feels like if he could straighten that bar himself, and he said it would be just as strong and just as, actually said would probably be more feasible than putting a new one on it, because he'd have to remove a whole bunch of stuff, put it all back. Just wanted to know if you guys are okay if we go that route.
I think I'm okay with it.
Is that Martin or,
Martin.
Craig? Okay.
You may not get it fixed for a long time if you.
Well, and then we've already received the money from the insurance, so, and everything keeps going up, so I feel like we probably should really be
The
getting.
county typically uses him. They don't take bids on those two up there, do they?
Last time we used Top Line, so this time we
Okay.
used Martin. I tried to get a bid.
Well, it seems like when I drive by Martin, you see county vehicles every once in a while, so I didn't know if that was just a.
I tried to get a bid from the one from Anthony, but they said they couldn't do it, so
I think it's great. Fix it.
I was ready to get,
Right? I mean.
Yeah, good run.
okay, set off, we have people listed in there from 2020 that have all deceased. I don't think we're going to collect their money, so are you okay with just getting rid of those dead?
Do you want the dollar amount is?
They didn't give me a total, but you know, I'm gonna say probably right now, we're probably looking at less than 20,000.
Yeah.
But like I said, they've been deceased for 2 years, and we haven't received any payment in any way, shape, or form, so I don't know how we would get it.
If you get that written up, we'll probably ought to have that in a meeting
Okay.
and do all that, just get that cleaned up for you guys, 'cause
And,
Like I
Just
said,
touch on the body shop one more time. You didn't realize Craig took that over too.
yeah.
Okay.
That would have to be in the minutes, because we're taking that off.
right, I think you're just asking if that's something we give us in the.
Yeah, so I'll gather up all the figures and everything.
Well, I can't remember the last time we did that.
Well, the set-off itself is still ongoing.
Right.
It's been probably 2 years at least since
Yeah.
we sent all that stuff to set off.
Okay.
And there's been pretty significant money coming in from that. It's just all the deceased people, we need to figure out what we're gonna do.
Yeah.
You know, after 6 months, if the state hadn't paid anything out, they would probably not really get it.
Yeah. Probably done. Yeah, probably need to clean that up pretty good.
And otherwise, I just need a short executive session about personnel.
Do you want Amy in here?
No, she already knows about all of it.
Do you want her part of the discussion now, Ford?
No, I don't think so.
Okay. How long do you want?
I'll be done in 3 minutes.
We'll go for 5 then.
Better say 5.
We'll go for 30. Jeff, you want to make that motion? Jeff made the motion to go into executive session, subject to be discussed will be personnel matters. Justification for closing the meeting is to discuss personnel matters of non-elected personnel. The open meeting will resume in this room at 9:58 according to my iPad. All in favor?
So I'm hoping by the beginning of next week.
Yeah.
We take 5.
It's just, we're getting our state inspection on Thursday out here, we're kinda hoping to be here, but,
Darren made a motion for
Thanks,
5 minutes.
man.
No action taken in that. Darren made a motion for 5 minutes recess. All in favor?
I get to walk a little bit.
Kind of hard not like that.
Here you are. Thank you.
But I need, you don't know anybody's got it.
Well, we're gonna hold on it.
Yeah.
We've got it. We're gonna hold it till next year.
Well, I'm getting there. I found some crabgrass.
We couldn't believe it. No one brought it.
I need some pita or something.
We're gonna have something to carry on. We're gonna wait for you.
That's what those people are doing.
Motion to reconvene. All in favor?
Before I forget, thanks for supporting our Fair Board,
I wasn't here.
Is there anything else you want to mention about?
No, I just wanted you to be able to hear that too, so.
Thanks for showing up.
And that's why I'm limping around. Yes, you're welcome.
Yeah. You wanna go there, Trevor?
Karma's a.
Some.
Tracy, you wanna come on up before it gets any deeper in here and we all start swinging things we might regret?
Yes, sir.
Doing not bad. How's it going, big guy?
Doing good, I guess. A couple of real quick things, part of the update, everything's going, I told you. Got one in Academy, one waiting to hear from. Everything else going good, just let Amy know. Did have a deputy hit a deer last night in the new truck. Waiting to see what kind of damage. It was drivable. Grill guard did its job, but I don't know how much damage to the front's done yet. We're waiting to hear this morning. He had to go over to Academy, so.
So it does have a brush car on it.
Yeah, I'm glad we put one on it. Like I said, they said there was a car coming and him going, and both of them almost got it. So anyway, we got that to normal now. The main thing I want to talk about was the Durango. I know from last week you guys had issues or wondering about money-wise. Honestly, guys, that one was a turd, and we were fixing to get rid of it. That was one we were gonna get rid of. My opinion of it is the 13,000 the insurance is offering is probably a lot more than we would have got if we'd have sold it.
Yeah, but the insurance doesn't know that, Tracy.
I know.
And that's where I'm, the whole thing is,
Yeah.
they're only gonna give us that much. And they understand, they know, they're down by doing the same as us. We go to replace that,
You can't, and that's what a lot of sheriffs were talking, and especially like, I know in Barber County had the same issue, because they get a lot of deer and stuff, and I'm talking to them about it. K-Camp doesn't pay to buy another one that's the same, it's just what they, and according to Amy, that's the policy we have with them, is they just pay
what they say it's worth.
what they say it's worth, not replacement, so.
It's kind of a crock, though, I think.
It is, and I don't know how much more our interest would go up if we had that added to do that. That's above my pay grade there, but I know after the Greenberg tornado, I learned a lot about insurances, and they say you dang sure want that because people found out real quick they couldn't replace their $30,000-$60,000 home they bought right before with a new one costing them $150 to $200.
That won't work. Well, so are you gonna have any luck finding something to replace that with?
Well, we had already had, that was what the pickup, and then we had ordered a Durango, because I had 2 this year.
Right.
Durango got canceled, so now we're waiting to see what we're gonna have to do to get the second one. Right now we're okay, and hopefully no one hits anything else. But I even thought about buying a used low mile truck, something
To get you by.
just to get us by, because we may not get one this year.
But even that's gonna cost you.
It's
Through the roof.
Or be tough to find.
But I had figured with whatever we got trading it or selling it and what I had in that capital, I would have enough to buy 2, no problem. So I think we're still okay there. But I know we'll have to get that 13,000 from insurance to help get another one going. So I'll leave that up to you guys.
I didn't think there's a way there's no replace it.
Yeah. According to Amy, and I just went and talked to her about it too again, and she said, yeah, they won't, the way our policy is. The other thing I had to kind of give you guys thinking about, I do have an individual that came in wanting a part-time job. I did look into the academy school, this first class for part-time, but there is one in August, is the next one out. I think would be a good asset to the county to hire him. Problem with it is,
Return full-time sometime maybe?
I don't know. Right now, no.
Local guy.
Yeah. And I think would be great. Problem with it is, I took out years ago our part-time budget, because we used to have $10,000 or $13,000 in there just for paying part-time employees. Could I get by this year? Yeah, I could make it work, sending to the academy, because we have to pay while they're at the 2-week academy. I think I can get by, but I would probably ask next year when we do the budget, maybe to get that line item back and add a little bit in there to help me. They work under 1,000 hours, so we don't have to pay insurance and stuff like that. It would just be, I think before we paid like $30 an hour for part-time help. And that would be.
Some would benefit you quite a bit.
It would, especially if we get down again, like coming up here, we may be down for a little while, not knowing how we're gonna hire somebody. That person could at least step in, and they're actually certified through the state. A little more beef than.
But you're needing another full-time anyway, aren't you?
Well, not right now, but I will be
Soon, maybe.
Well,
possibly.
yeah.
What's that academy cost? Just since it makes
It don't cost us anything, we just have to pay their hourly rate while we're there.
And then is that a required deal from the state, or is that something you wanted to go through just so that liability wise we don't have?
Well, if you have somebody that you are going to pay, they have, by state law, have to go to a 2-week academy.
Okay.
Like the reserve we've had, and we're down to 1 right now. We put on a class, and they are only certified through me, and me only, not the state.
Working for pay.
If I leave, their certification's no good anymore.
So, my next question is, if we pay him to go to this academy for 2 weeks, does he have to do a certain amount of time, or, because we may pay him to do this academy and all of a sudden you make him mad next day and he's gone?
It could happen. That's why I'd have to make a decision whether or not I send him, and this guy I think would be great.
But I mean, do we have anything in there saying he has to give a certain amount of time?
Yeah, I thought you had a clause. I really did.
No, the state has, now if we send somebody to the full-time academy, they have to work for us a year. They don't have to, they can go somewhere and do something other than law enforcement, and they're fine. But if they go to another law enforcement agency and they haven't worked for us for a year, that agency has to pay back their academy time.
Okay.
We looked at that on hiring the last time we were, and it was gonna cost us $15,000+ to pay out. So both academy.
How many hours is this academy?
Well, it's a 2-week, I'm not sure what the hours are.
Just say 30 hours, I don't know if it'd be 30 hours a week.
You only gotta pay him part-time.
Let's just guess 30 hours, that'd be 60 hours times 13. You're looking $780 to get $1,000 with us.
To me, that's pretty cheap for help. It's not like the
Is that up
full-time.
in Hutch?
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
South Hutch or whatever it is. Pretty cheap.
So, but I have to get them on the list because it fills up so fast for part-time. Full-time doesn't, part-time doesn't. So I just
So
kinda want
he's
to
ready now,
Yeah.
basically.
Yeah.
And your budget can handle it then right now.
Well, I think we'll be fine. This first year, we bought stuff we didn't get. I got my end of month report. We're gonna be fine, I think, still, but,
You think you need him, Tracy?
well, I don't, it's not that I think I need them, I just don't, I hate to need them and not have them, because you don't know what's gonna happen. I think he would be a good advocate, because most everybody here knows him, so I'm not gonna talk about it, you know.
Yeah,
but,
no.
I think he would be good, so. That's kind of what I'm gonna look at, so when May comes around and you guys see my budget, I may have a little.
I trust you. You think you need him, you think he'll be good, let me know.
So,
So you'll make them in handy pretty quick.
Pretty quick.
so that's where I wanted to throw out, cause I wanna get them on the list, but I didn't wanna get them on the list for Academy if you guys just said no, so. Other than that, that's all I had.
We should stop doing it, Tracy. Sounds good.
All right,
Tracy.
appreciate it.
We're taking you
Good
guys
day.
submitting
Thank you.
insurance money.
Yep. We'll see you.
See you.
Shelly?
All right. Am I early? What, 4 minutes early? Way to go, fellas, way to be on time and early, you know. All right, so,
No.
what's, two things. We, so, was it Wednesday? I can't remember when we had. I called our CID group together and tried to get, you know, like we had talked about some history and whatnot. And, so Charlie actually has been on the CID since it was actually created. Yeah. So he provided tremendous insight and, you know, just made me kind of feel a little bit better about how the whole thing is going. But, and you know, now that we've balanced it and we know exactly how much money we're dealing with and everything. So we did have a request by, I don't know how you say his name. Is it Charles? Carlos. Okay.
I got a question about your committee. Who is all on the committee right now? Again, you told us and I forgot.
No, it's Charlie Coggins,
Yeah.
Lyle, jewelry store guy.
Okay.
Well,
Yes.
Sheila.
Sheila.
Adams.
Yes.
Shelly.
Myself and Shauna. So in the
So,
and the way it stands is you have to have 3 people who do business in the actual CID district, and then 2 county staff.
okay.
So
I had a question about this the other day, and I don't know, just gonna put it out there. Should we, and it may not make a difference, it may, should we maybe have somebody from the city of Anthony commission or on that also? I'm just throwing it out there, I was out the other day, if somebody from the city county commission or city commission could be maybe on that also.
I absolutely think that would be great, because since this is only an Anthony thing, I don't think
Right.
that's, yeah, a bad idea. I actually wish the city of Anthony would take the whole thing.
No, I don't think that's.
I think, personally, I think, I have a name maybe,
Okay,
I think it's somebody you probably ought to, and it could be any of them, I think you ought to ask somebody from the city commission if they would like to be on this.
okay, yeah.
You guys opposed to that?
Yeah, but I don't want to go along with it, leaving the county's possession as far as management.
They're the ones that started it.
Yeah.
No.
Hmm?
City of Athens originally one
But the county's the one that took the responsibility on
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
So, now you can do that,
Okay.
you can do whatever on that, that's just my opinion. I was asked that the other day, if
No.
one representative from the city could be on that maybe?
No, I think it makes sense, because it, like I said, it is their downtown area in their district. I also was
That's
able.
when this all started, right?
Well, and I believe it was looked, I mean, from the history that I was able to gather, it was created to replace those downtown buildings and to finance those downtown buildings. And as a matter of fact, 75% of the taxes that are collected actually go to those buildings. Am I right?
And if it falls short, then they don't get paid. I mean, the
Right.
developers one thinks
Right.
they can.
So the CID monies that we use for projects are only 25% of what is collected.
And
But I'm pretty sure that we make sure that enough is
the
collected.
county
so
does,
that-
right? That's how we got to do
Yes,
this.
yeah. And so, and from what I have been told, that this type of CID is pretty unique to Anthony, that it's not really done this way.
It was the first.
It was the first,
yeah.
and I'm not sure
If anybody else.
if anybody ever did it, yeah, so, so it's very unique, I mean, it's helpful. You know, I think originally the idea was that it could be like a loan program, but then they decided that they wanted it to be more of a grant program, from what I've been told, and
But
so.
isn't it doing what it was intended to do? I mean, we're actually fixing buildings that probably would not have been fixed. We're keeping the
Yes.
buildings in good shape
Yes,
for future people,
yes,
and that's what it was intended for, I'm
Right.
assuming.
as long as the owners have money to invest, because
Correct.
that's kind of the caveat, is, you know, we did have a gentleman come and wanted us to help him save his building, but unfortunately he didn't have a skin in the game, he didn't have, other than the building
I'm
that
good
was
with that.
falling down, so, so in this situation, you have to have more of an investment than the county actually does, and we're just kind of giving them a little help, so with that being said, I felt confident that we could go ahead and look at another application. So, and the committee did recommend that on this Carlos Bishop doing business as Big Toy Storage project, which is going to be actually up at the Anthony Industrial Park, which the district goes all the way up to the northern end of the park. And they felt like we could do 25,000 because, as you know, this is replenished every 3 months, Shonda? Or is it every month? Every month, so.
There's only, I'm not gonna be the bad guy here,
Are you dying?
Got a tickle down there.
No
now.
tickle.
but you gonna make it?
Maybe not.
We need a drink?
I'll try that.
We've talked about this. I'd still like to see something put in before we go too far with these on time. You have so many time, how much time to spend this meeting?
So what was interesting is, as I went back to look at some of the resolutions, one of them did say the funds would be distributed throughout 1 year from the start of the project, so I went ahead and put that in this resolution. So I'm not sure where that got lost in translation, but,
I don't know.
so I will continue to do that.
That's just me talking, these two
Yeah,
might
yeah,
not, I wanna
When
find
is
it.
Carlos deadline, or when's he gonna be moved?
I haven't talked to Joe lately. I do probably need an oil change.
No, I just seen they were working down there.
Yeah, they've really been kind of going gangbusters, and I think that, you know, most of the projects are moving forward in a pretty timely manner, but, you know, so from here forward, I think
I want
that's,
a date that something has to be done. I mean, you have to be doing something.
yeah,
You can't sit there for 4 or 5 years and still expect that to be sitting there. We should have been supporting somebody else.
yeah. I think all of our projects right now are moving forward. I know I've got, some receipts to process and
Good.
so,
That's good.
good stuff, so. Anyway, so that's that.
So is that time frame? Is it in the application part of it or just part of the
No, it's,
resolution?
it's part of the resolution.
I wonder if to go on beyond what you're saying is if it needs to say it, because
Before
what you're gonna hear is, well, I didn't know that.
Well, you're right, and not only that, but I also feel like the other thing that needs to be put into the application is, so, from what I have been told, that if we stretch the money out for like 3 or 4 years, that money is considered taxable income.
Yeah, there's,
So there's some type of,
it depends on who the money goes to. If you actually give it to the person, so in this case, if you give it to Carlos,
Yeah.
then that makes it to where he gets taxed on that income.
Yes.
Whereas if it goes to the contractor, that
Yeah.
changes, right? Do you
changes.
understand it that way?
That's what I would think, is that if it goes directly to said, like an entity that's actually doing the work,
Then it's their problem,
Then
it's
it's
not
their
the.
issue,
So
yeah.
there's a difference in how or where the check goes to.
but I think I will start saying, when people apply for this, that, just keep in mind that, while this is a grant, it's still income and it still will be taxed as said income,
If
so.
if they're collecting the check themselves, but I
Yeah.
think, and I think maybe advice to them is, you need to visit with your accountant to make sure that that's the way to handle this.
Yeah.
That way they don't come back and say, well, you didn't tell me this, Shelley.
Yeah,
And that,
Right.
well, no, I told you to go get advice from your accountant, not.
right,
And this application, I'd like you to put in there, like you said, you got so much time that this has to be used.
Right there when you sign, did you see that?
well, and I can put that somewhere on this too. But so anyway, with this latest, I mean, he's requesting over $200,000, but the committee felt, one, because the nature of this business, it's not gonna turn a lot of sales tax back into, so, but they wanted to
From
be
employees or anything like that either, probably.
right, so they wanted to be, though, a steward of, to promote business, and this will be a new business in Anthony, so.
Probably one that's needed, I would guess.
I think it's.
Storage is all
Yeah,
good.
yeah, so, anyway, and here's a picture of where it's gonna go.
I got an email to me.
Okay, good.
Did you see it, Jeff?
Yeah, how's that other guy that one yet? That I was telling you about the other day?
No,
All right, so that will be resolution number 2022 Kelsey, did you-
06.
06. Does somebody want to make that motion?
So,
All in favor?
okay. And so the skid guy was supposed to be here. I haven't heard from him.
Weather.
So, I don't know what his sitch is, or, so, sorry. Got you guys all excited, new skid guy, and there we
It
go.
seems pretty upbeat out there in the community though. I mean,
Yeah,
a lot of
good stuff.
going.
Yeah, I think, for various reasons, people are thinking more entrepreneurially. Is that a word? I think I just made it up. And starting businesses and wanting to fill niches that are in our communities, and so I really feel that, and also our manufacturing. I mean, Marlo, was here last week, and we ended up visiting with the gal from Cox Machine. Marlo was they're going to help with their new expansion, so that's going to be great. And then shortly after that, we were able to visit with the Elko people as well. So Marlo's visit was very successful.
Have you heard anything on the business on the new property there?
Nope, I haven't. And I thought about that too, because I thought, well, it'd be nice if we saw some
Did you
action.
see something
Yeah.
weird or something?
Yeah,
I think there's money in people's pockets. Whenever people have excess cash, that stimulates entrepreneurship.
oh, sure, yeah. So, anyway, and as you guys heard this morning, I mean, housing is still kind of a big issue, so, but it's not a hard.
Yeah, I'd like to see some dirt or something.
Moving. And I thought about that too. I thought maybe cause I was gonna call and see, I'd like to even do like a groundbreaking. I think that would be kind of cool,
Yeah.
just to be,
See, we're back to that 1 year, but they have to spend so much time.
yeah. So
Think about when's the last time you saw middle income homes being built in Harper County?
well, and that's not just Harper County. That's a lot of.
Well, yeah, but I'm using that as an example
Yeah.
for us here that
Right.
we see that.
No.
I can't remember in my lifetime ever seeing that.
Yeah.
Because I think those up on North Jennings were some of the last ones.
Yes.
Last ones I remember was out here on the corner where they built them houses right there, old,
Diamond Court.
I remember seeing them.
Oh, yeah. That would have been newer than those ones up there.
But middle income housing
That
is,
was back in the,
Would that be 80s time frame?
70s probably, wouldn't it?
70s, late 70s.
Commissioner Warnoff's heyday.
Oh, I wouldn't lie on this.
He's still dragging Bennett. He's on building.
But yeah, I mean, we just need to get that ball rolling, and it's easier said than done. So
Yeah, there are a lot of steps that have to fall into place
yeah,
all at once.
absolutely. So, and as I heard, or as I reported in the meeting this morning, department head, I am going to go to the WeCan conference.
Where's that at?
It's in Newton, so I will just drive up that morning.
Did you just say?
Newton.
Newton.
It's at their Meridian Center, which is a really cool place, but it's just got, there's probably 100 people there that are all from all rural areas. And Marcy Penner, who's kind of the rural Kansas guru, she has all these brainstorming sessions and whatnot. It's certainly worth our time, and my time especially. And then I will be taking a couple of personal days off on Thursday or Friday.
Do you want us to sign that resolution?
Oh, sure, if you want to.
Well, no, we don't. You don't
Good
want us
idea.
to.
I'll just leave it here. How about that?
I'll do it right when we read it.
Okay. So, what else? What else is going on? The office transition is going. Do you need 2 copies?
Why should I have 2 copies?
Because I printed 2 copies.
I was just offering. I don't need. Sean don't need a copy of it though. But you know that, right? So,
I know.
Okay, well, I just thought if you got 2 copies, I'll sign it. But no, I'm not gonna sign it now, Shelly.
So the sad news is the printer that was purchased, my little desk jet printer, it's already,
Usually you go, no.
I was out. It's already gone to heck. And so I have to, when I print it down here. And I didn't know if I had printed it, and I didn't want to come all the way down here, so I printed it.
Okay.
Shelly.
Well,
So, but the great news
way to
is,
save the environment, you know.
what?
Nothing.
The great news is, though, I will be able, when at the new annex, I'll be able to have a good printer. So everything is great. I can't think of anything else, fellas.
I noticed that, well, I should say, never mind.
Can we get an Alexa thing over there? That way we can say, hey, drop in on the annex. That way we can talk to you if we need to.
Oh, yeah, some kind of intercom.
Yeah.
This is a Wiggins. Can you come over here?
That's what we need.
I'm a big fan of Carol Burnett. She was my hero.
My grandparents watched that.
I grew up watching.
I did too. That and he helped.
I haven't heard that forever. I'll have to go and show my kids that.
This is a Wiggins.
We started showing them, remember the cereal, what was it, Nut and Honey? We broke all those commercials out on YouTube and just laughed so hard at supper the other night, but I'm gonna have to pull that one out. Thank you for that, Shelly.
You're welcome.
You don't remember that?
That's my goal in life is not to make a difference. It's just to make people laugh.
Just remember the old stuff.
Right. All right. I'm out of here.
Thank you,
Thanks,
Shelly.
I'm done.
So I got the updated dual budget during the meeting.
Hey, girl.
Yep. Okay. Then I also visited with Matt and Jackie about the fuel valuation and kind of their thoughts on whether the state would lower it. There's some that they had provided.
So this should be 75% remaining? Okay.
Yep. And their thoughts were, they did not think the state would lower it because why they did it in the last year was because of COVID and people weren't driving. People are still driving now. And so they did not.
So they're actually, everybody's doing good except for building grounds.
Yeah.
It's like, well, they're
They
not
have
far.
such a small budget, yeah. So yeah.
This is helpful. 'Cause
Yeah, it's nice to see.
Okay. Yes, I'll just keep providing it each meeting then.
That's fine.
Yep.
The road and bridge line is setting really good right now, but that can change
Oh, yeah.
Well, it'll change real fast over the prices right now.
overnight.
Yeah.
So,
Even public transportation looks
Can you-
good, but
can you, well, I'm sure that they're tracking downstairs too. I just wanted to make sure that this will work.
thanks, Shonda.
Yep. You're welcome.
And this is,
That was from the map from like the state fuel
well,
valuation, so I'm. Yeah, they kind of the state says it's kind of, the diesel prices are at the record highs for right now, and they just don't seem going down.
I can agree with that.
Yeah, so unfortunately they didn't think there would be any kind of break. I don't know if you guys want to look at, these are the property valuations
Oh,
from
you
this.
see, I saw those in the email.
Okay, and then last year's, if anybody wants to like kind of compare.
You know, on that property valuation, there's some of these properties that we've talked about in the past about why do we own those and should we get rid of them? And I don't know which is which. I mean, we've had a lot of I don't know what these guys' thoughts are. There was several of them. Yeah, and I don't know why. There's one over west of Anthony, it's maybe 10 miles, and it's a wedge-shaped piece that, why do we have that?
What is it?
Well, there's different properties that if you get to figuring out where all these are at, that you question why we own some of them. And one of them is a piece of pasture. It's alongside a road, and it's just a wedge shape. I don't know, it's probably 4 or 5 acres
These are all the ones we own.
next to somebody's pasture.
Mm-hmm.
And if you look at an aerial, you can see it through the satellite, why it's on there, and I just wonder why the county owns something like that. But there's a few others that we've talked about in the past of,
Can we get pictures of where they're located? Is really the numbers.
you want them mapped out.
Yep, sure, I can get those for
Don't
you.
you think?
That way you can see it, because we went through one time during a meeting, and we started trying to figure out where all these labels were at.
That's what
And I
I
can't remember them all right now, but we spent some time one day trying to figure out where they were all at. And
Well, I know there's still gonna be some we wanna keep, of course.
yeah, but there are some that will make you wonder, what the heck are we
Yeah,
doing
but
with
if you
that?
went back to the record, we probably owned that forever.
Yeah, but why?
Yeah, I know
Why,
what
you
you're saying.
know? I'm a fan of cleaning stuff up, because it, nobody's taken the time to do it in the past, and
Right,
it's
right.
kind of like storage units. Clean that storage unit out, so we don't have to pay that anymore. We did that, so we finally got that thing cleaned up.
Well, I don't, if there's no reason for us to have it, then we'll leave it.
Section 25, 32, 7, 96 acres, that's probably the farm, isn't it? Yes.
Yeah, that'd be neat to see a map.
Okay.
I wonder how many of them type of, you don't have any idea how many types of properties are like that.
No, I have no idea.
Central Harbor, Lot 11. A map would be good, so we can see what we got.
Okay.
Please.
No problem. So I'll go over the financials next month. I just have to finish up on the narratives and they'll be ready to be presented to you guys.
Okay.
And then, do you guys have an end date in mind for Linda? She said she would stay till after the audit, but there's still some things that I would like for her to stay around for. She's willing to stay, but I didn't know what your guys'
I
thoughts were.
thought she was staying till like
August.
June or
Yeah.
something.
I'd kind of like to leave that up to you a little bit, Sean.
Okay.
If you have a conversation with her and there's stuff that you're not
Yes.
comfortable with,
Okay.
And you can convince her to stick around for a little bit.
Yeah. Do you
Did
guys
she
are good
throw
with
out
that?
all this to you?
She did at one
Really?
time, but she's like, but she'd also told you guys until the end of the audit, so you just wanna make sure that it's okay if she stays around till like June or August.
I wanna help you
Yes.
as much as we possibly
Okay.
can. That's
You
my
need to
opinion.
be
Perfect.
comfortable with it.
Okay, good, alright, great, so, 2 years now,
I
I'm just kidding.
knew you was gonna say that.
But we're gonna have to cut it sometime.
Right, exactly, so, yeah, cause she's like doing some tax stuff right now, and she said they'll do it again in June, but I would like her at least to be around for that part. I think that's all I have for today.
How's our tax sale stuff going?
I'm not sure, I haven't checked in for Melinda.
So I would get a report on that. You know
Okay.
what? We haven't heard anything on that for quite some time.
Okay,
And I'd like to know where we're at with that.
okay. Like, how many properties are you thinking?
Where we're at, when is that tax sale? It's June? Do you know what the tax sale is?
I don't think there's a date yet.
Okay.
I don't remember.
Well, we haven't heard anything on this for quite some time. I mean, kind of some kind of update of where we're at.
Okay, okay.
Is this the one you was talking about that's up there?
I was just looking at that. It's 31.8, in section 1131.8, but maybe that's 96 acres, so is that the farm?
That's what I wondered, yeah.
But I think, like that right there, I think
Oh, okay.
it's 0.4 acres. And it's just, like I said, a wedge-shaped deal inside of somebody's patch.
No, I was talking about the county farm up here on this one.
Yeah, I think
I'd
that
like to
was-
see what that one is, what you're talking about. And you said that's 10 miles, no, not 10
Well, it's
miles.
west of Anthony, it's over there, I think right around Corwin Road somewhere. I just don't see the purpose of us holding on to stuff like
How
that.
far south is it?
It's north of the highway,
Oh, it's north of the
about a
highway.
mile north of the highway, if I remember right. 22,339, there's 1.6 acres, so 22,339. That may be it too, 33.9. Anyway, there's another one, 1.6 acres in 22,339, which is over west of Anthony as well. Don't know what that is.
I see that one on there right now.
What the heck could that be?
No idea.
So that's what I'm just saying, if we can spend some time cleaning that up,
Get
instead of just kicking it all down the road, why are we keeping that stuff?
Okay.
And some of it, maybe they used to park equipment on, I don't know.
That's what I was wondering.
But this one, like I'm telling you, it just narrows down to this little wedge-shaped deal, and it just doesn't make sense. There's no electric there, nothing.
No lease park area there.
So you give more than that?
Yep.
Which week, see what we're at.
Will do.
It's probably some time for an update. That's been a while.
Sounds good. Anything else? No? Okay.
Thank you, Sean.
Yep, welcome. Okay.
That'd be interesting.
What are you doing in here?
Yeah, we talked about it this morning.
Oh,
Michelle's.
for Michelle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To get her another computer out there at the.
So one of the computers that you've already bought, did you buy like 5 of them? Do you
Yes,
have
sir.
those yet? Would that one work instead of buying a brand new one?
I did. I mean, it doesn't have a specific purpose. Yeah, but we can. I mean, the thing is, I don't understand the tech budget. I think we talked about this Thursday or Friday. Like what?
It comes from the state. and I don't understand how they formulate that, but it comes from the
So
state.
I don't mind using the equipment that we have to get it.
But if that budget is
going,
there,
but yeah, why? I mean, I don't want to take it out of my budget if it's not.
will this be tough getting it? How long will it take? All that.
Well, yeah, but if we have everything here already, I can go ahead and get her set up
Swap
for
it out
tomorrow
later.
and then swap it out later. That's what I was talking about, that hot swap. And we'll do a trial and you guys will like it and we'll go for it.
I'm good with it. I mean, it's perfect. I need to use however she wants. She just needs to do this to spend the money. Somebody want to make that motion? All in favor? Aye. And then on that Verizon tracking software, how far along is that?
We've got quarter installed right now.
Yeah.
So end of the month we should have.
Can you send me the link so we can start looking at some of that
I can
stuff?
send you that. I didn't know. I'll talk to Amy on how we want to do that. You know, with some of the driving information, I think it's like personnel information, so we may have to like do an executive session so you guys can check out the software or look at it. That way we're not, that way you can see it detailed and we're not picking on one person.
No, but what I wanna see is I wanna see noxious weed and I wanna see the graders.
Right.
And I don't think that personnel stuff, I think that's,
Okay.
well, I think I wanna see where the equipment's been and start to see some maps of where they've been graded.
Yeah, that's fine.
So is that possible that you can send that to me to start tracking that?
Yeah.
Okay.
And me too.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, dude.
Thank you, Josh. Whenever you get a chance, if you just send me whatever I need to do to log in.
Yeah, that's pretty simple.
Thank you.
Who's that? Rolling.
It's 5 o'clock.
Well, heck yeah, let's go get it.
5 o'clock somewhere.
Right in here.
How did Courtney
You wanna
do?
see that? Oil,
She was in the top 50 out of
crude oil price. versus
200 to
forecast.
300 every day. So
Really?
she did good.
Good.
Yeah, she had, the first day she had a barrel, but other than that.
Yeah, I heard you say that.
Yeah, but other than that, she did good.
Of course, then after that, Todd had to tell me, well, this is what we're about.
I know, the expert.
Yeah, like you're a horse whisperer, Todd.
Right, so when we get that walker, then we'll get her in much better shape.
Oh, yeah, they went and looked at it. So he was like weirded out because it didn't have one of the arms on it. I'm like, Jared used it all the time without rubbing a knee.
You're all right, we're running ahead.
We can put it on there if you need it.
I think we know a welder that can, help us get it on.
Yeah.
Alright, morning.
Morning.
How are you all? Okay. I do have some personnel status forms. EMS, it's just a position change, going from captain to just not just, but a full-time paramedic. So she'll start doing a 12-hour for 24-hour shift. I also have a vacancy notice. The clerk's office is going to fill their 3rd position. I did email you. I emailed you because I need to know how to post for that. What is that person going to do? So just update that.
Now, we
This is
pulled
just
money
a-
out of that budget.
We haven't moved anything out at this time. We said we were going to. It is the general fund though, so we've left things alone at this point.
Didn't we make a motion to move that from there?
Into finance. Do you
Yeah.
want to go ahead and do that?
I think that's why we made the motion, isn't it, guys? Yeah.
And we do need that 3rd person with all the new legislature coming through and with the budget cuts, with the R&R that we have to mail out, and there's a lot of new stuff coming through for elections as well.
But we pulled a bunch of stuff out of the office as well.
You just pulled out the AP and payroll, so. But either way, it has been known we've had all the other previous clerks have needed 3 people. And so, like I said, I'm going to hire for that 3rd person because it is needed in that office with all of the duties.
So.
And state statute, you are required to provide me with what is needed to run that office. So, just as a reminder.
Okay.
Dr. Beach has signed his contract to be our EMS medical director. So I just was wondering if you would sign for us as well. He is willing to continue doing it if we need him, and he's done a nice job for us.
He has done a pretty good job for us. How many years has he been with us, Amy?
This is the 3rd or the 4th, I believe. He comes to their meetings and they do training.
Time's going by pretty quick.
Mhm.
But yeah, I do believe he's done a lot of good stuff for us. You good with this, or do you want to look at the independent contract?
It's the same contract, I just changed the dates.
I need a motion for this one, independent contract agreement with Dr. Beach for the position of EMS, what's that called?
Medical director.
Medical director, there you go. All in favor?
Aye.
We did speak with department heads this morning about summer help. Hopefully I'll know by the end of this week. so we can have a position open when we go do the job fair at Chaparral. And we'll see. There was a little bit of interest, although not really a ton this morning, so we'll see kind of what people are thinking
Oh,
and if we
from-
can fund it for our summer help.
So, my question here is, there's no change in,
No, Jan had requested that we leave that the same, considering her length of service and the length that she's had her certification.
I guess I know.
Thank you.
Good with that, Jeff? Yeah.
I did speak to K-Camp about the annex. They're fine. They say they prefer the building to be occupied rather than unoccupied, and if we can't sell it, she'd rather have people in there. She said there are limits on coverage for vacant buildings, so this will be helpful if something does happen. Low risk for public use as well, and she's really not even concerned about the 24-hour badge access if we were to go that route.
Really?
Yeah, she did send me templates for lease agreements, for a separate one for like if we, I don't know if this is something they're even considering, keeping it, like renting it out for a year at a time or 6 months at a time, or if we're just gonna do the few hours at a time, but there's a separate agreement from K-Camp for each one. So they're not concerned about it liability-wise, which is nice.
Good.
Nolan and I are meeting this afternoon to go through the courthouse and document all the cracks and all of that. There is a gauge on one of those, and it's from Pishney. They're the same people that did our stairs. So I'm gonna call them.
So they're the ones that put it in there. I couldn't remember if it was the KGS or whoever.
I don't know. I'm gonna find out though when was that put in? Are they monitoring it still? You know, but they are also the ones who did the steps, so I'm thinking they probably would be interested in the repairs here too. Of course, we'll open it for bid like we would anything else, but, so we'll get those things documented and sent to K-Camp this week. I'm still waiting for an estimate to repair the bridge that was damaged in January.
That's road and bridge needs to get after that, right?
Yeah, I emailed Mike again this morning and asked where we're at on that.
Okay. It's probably gonna be tough for him to figure that out, but.
Well, and, you know, I don't know, I can help with that too if we need to,
We may have to hire somebody to
just come and look. Did Tracy talk to you this morning about his Durango?
Yep.
Was there anything decided about that? Are you going to
take
accept?
the money.
He said K-Camp wasn't gonna.
No, our MOC is written so that they will settle on actual cash value basis, not replacement cost basis. And she said
Yeah.
people are having a horrible time right now finding
I
replacement.
mean, you're not gonna get any better than that. So we'll go for it, man. Right?
Yep.
I don't like him.
I know.
I do need
Someone
an executive session for non-elected employee.
How long you need?
I do need an executive session for non-elected.
How long do you need?
I would say let's go for
15?
15 minutes. Just to,
20.
20, do you have more?
You wanna make that motion then?
Yep.
Darren made a motion to go into executive session, subject to being discussed will be personnel matters, justification for closing the meeting, is to discuss personal matters with non-elected personnel. Open meeting will resume at, where are we at? Let's just go with 10, or 11:10. Be getting ready. Is that long enough for you, Darren?
I'll take a breakfast for you.
All in favor?
Probably 10 minutes. I told you 20 minutes went long enough, you didn't know how to have it. Hey, we can't talk about anything else yet.
Yeah.
I mean,
No action was taken, we've got about a minute left of executive session.
oh. You wanna have, you wanna talk about it a little bit or not?
What's that?
We have a little executive session with Mike for just a little bit about what we want out of him for that. Probably should.
If you want to, yeah.
Probably should.
That's why you had him come up, wasn't it? Because you wanted to.
Yeah, but that's on that road, the bridge, we need to talk to him about that, talk to him, what he thinks on that
Yeah.
bypass.
Yeah.
That's the reason I had him come first.
Yeah, let's wait till that time, what do you got, about 15, yeah. You guys have anything else for me?
No.
No.
Done with me?
Thank you, Amy,
Thank
appreciate it.
you. All have a good day.
You too.
Well, we don't leave her in.
Well, we want to ask Mike.
I know, about the bridge thing.
No, she don't have to be here with him, because she knows.
Thank you.
Hey, Mike, you want to come on up? We want to talk a little bit more about the state bridge and their detour, if they're wanting. I guess I'm willing to put my feet in the ground. I don't know what these guys are, and just say, I want a third party. Because I don't want this to come up in 2 years and then all of a sudden we have to destroy the road from the increase in traffic.
This protects the state as much as it protects
Well,
you guys.
that's what I think,
understand
too.
why they wouldn't.
That's what I think
For
too.
that thing.
What do you want?
Want cleared. So you're saying we need to stay with the third party then? That's, I mean, because that's what I was trying to tell him, because if we come in and say, well, this is what needs to be fixed, and I don't know if they do, or there's nothing to say they can't, you may come in and say, well, it is right, or we didn't do this, well, then we have nothing, this is back and forth.
Then you're gonna get an attorney and then you're gonna go through mediation.
But the thing is, with third party, if they say it's fixed right, and the third party says it's fixed right, then we're on our own anyway. So it's actually protecting them as much as it is us.
Exactly.
What was that one thing that got brought up?
Rental.
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 It'd be 60,000 cars, I figure, roughly, is what I figured, in that time period.
Well, okay,
So
so
he's wanting to figure out how much we're gonna pay him for that extra,
what's it cost to go through the turnpike?
depends on how many wheels you got, and how far you're going.
Okay, so that's probably how, I would guess how they would base the rental situations off of
I'm
that.
guessing.
I haven't been through the turnpike forever, so I have no idea what that costs.
It's all up, 'cause you can go a little ways now for, in Oklahoma City, it costs you 75 cents, and we're only talking a few miles.
So you figure that,
It's up quite a bit.
that wouldn't be anything, that wouldn't add up to anything. You'd be probably less than $20,000 on that.
Well,
And so that won't fix anything. If there's a pothole, whatever.
So you have $20,000 worth coming from them, but then you have $150,000, $200,000 damage. You know what I mean? I mean, that doesn't make much sense to me. So I'm kinda like Brian, I mean, we gotta cover our butts, I'm just saying.
the traffic.
About the third party deal, I don't see what's such a big deal to the state.
Well, some of the big deal is, they're gonna have to pay for it, have a third party inspection, because we're not gonna pay for it.
Right.
I guess I'm more interested in protecting our blacktop. For the long run, I'm not interested in.
What happened if we said, okay, well, let's say the third party, what do you think it's gonna cost, 1,000, 2,000, 10,000?
Yeah, that's what
I don't
that's
know.
what I was gonna ask you. You've been on one of them deals. Do you know what it costs?
When we hired the guy to go out for like our third party on our blacktops, wasn't it like $50,000 or $60,000 for that other deal that we're involved in? For all those miles there. Wasn't it between $50,000 and $60,000 when we hired that person?
I don't remember. I don't recall hearing that number, I guess.
Seemed like that number's in my head.
But that's several miles of highway.
That's all of our blacktops.
Yeah.
So let's just say it's gonna cost us 10,000, what we split the bill with them.
No,
It's protecting us too, though.
we don't need the detour.
Well, I know.
They can build their shoe fly and go on. He just flat out said the shoe fly is an option that they could do, except for he thought that he'd give us the money instead. Well, then build the shoe fly. That's the simple way around it. I just don't want to go down
I
the
like
road
that.
5 years from now and then we start having all these potholes and stuff show up and then look back and think, well, it was because of that increased traffic that was.
Well, I'm gonna tell you, but
And I don't know what that road was engineered for. I wasn't on board when they did that, so I don't know what the traffic
I'd like to have the highway and I'd like to have the money. Cause it's hard to turn down that extra funding for the county.
I agree.
What's it cost to overlay a mile? You get heavy trucks, so you get all these crews, and you're gonna have to overlay.
I always heard one time, I may be wrong, I thought it was about $1 million a mile, but I may be wrong.
We spent, what, $250,000 to build these blacktops per mile. Roughly 250, it was between $250,000 and $300,000
Is that
per
just
mile.
asphalt or is that the sub
That's with the sub and then the,
2 inches?
yeah,
It's all of it, really?
per mile.
But that's 2-inch overlay, not 4 or 3, whichever.
Say what?
That was a 2-inch overlay, correct?
Correct.
I'm gonna say it's gonna be higher than that now. But
Okay.
you
Oh,
know,
heck, yeah, it'll be probably 2 or 3 times that much.
I was always told about $1 million a mile, but I may be
That's
wrong.
what I had heard. And how many miles is that? 10 miles?
Well, we used to do, what we were doing about a mile, or trying to stick to 5 miles. And it was just over $1.2 million per 5 miles. So we were trying to do 5 miles every year, and that's about where it figured out to be.
How many miles are up there, do you know?
It's 10 to the mag plant from the state.
And they're not gonna use that much, but
Well, I'm gonna tell you, if it's like the Bluff Road, if you start getting, unless it's a better road, once you start putting a lot of road traffic down, that's just not enough asphalt to handle a lot of traffic, because I can show you one down south that's having a lot of trouble.
yeah, and I know those were engineered for 80% commercial traffic now. They're not holding up at all for that, and I know that's what those were engineered for.
Not even close.
We were trying to plan for if we had another one of them, and that's why we went for 80%.
You take
commercial traffic.
a nice showery day or damp day after rain, drive down that road, and you'll see what I got. It's running, the cracks are running north and south now.
Yeah.
I will say, I went down Freeport Road the other day, it's plain as day that they did not seal it.
Oh, no.
North of Freeport.
Because we didn't. Remember when we started getting those cracks, we decided to pull back and.
But the Freeport Road's a lot better than the damn bit on Danger, better than the Bluff Road.
So that's where I'm at, Mike, and.
Well, if he said, you're saying, I mean,
You're responsible to the taxpayers, and I don't think we're protecting ourselves otherwise.
I still want to get to another attorney either. Because my word against your
Costing
word.
us as much money as you
If
hire lawyers.
they don't like what we say, then they're gonna
At
take.
the end of the day, so we're either gonna have a third party, they can build a shoe fly, is that what you're saying?
That's kind of the way I understood him here. Because did he bring up the shoe fly thing and they didn't want to do that because they'd rather us have the money?
Would you say $560,000 for supply?
500 something, yeah.
So, if that third party guy costs him $10,000, he's still way better off to do
Well,
it.
yeah, that makes no sense.
And possibly not have to, and within part of that agreement, what was that agreement? They're gonna pay us so much money
Yeah.
for so much time. So in the long run, he's still gonna be cheaper to do that than build a shoe fly. In my opinion.
That's right.
But I still think Brian's right, because it's our word against their word, and if there's nothing in there saying, we think it needs fixed, they don't think it needs fixed, then we gotta get a lawyer. The third party protects him and us.
I'm definitely,
Just have it inspected before they start, have it inspected when they're finished,
Be done.
be done.
Okay,
it's kind of a no-brainer, really.
I think that's where we're at.
Okay.
Little 5 minutes with him?
Yeah, if that's what you want.
5 minutes.
Darren's making a motion to go into executive session.
It'll probably take longer than 5.
Personnel matters, correct, Darren?
Yep.
Subject to be discussed will be personnel matters. Justification for closing the meeting is to discuss personnel matters with personnel. Open meeting will resume in this room at 11:30. That work for you?
Whatever, I'm just gonna talk 10 minutes.
11:30. All in favor?
Alright. If I can figure out how to run this thing again.
Well, you wanted 10 minutes?
Yeah.
Oh, then that'd be 11.
We can go 10 minutes.
10 minutes. Okay, no action taken. The AP.
Minutes.
Yeah.
Get a 0 on that one you caught that I missed.
Yeah, a couple corrections on the minutes. So the Commissioner Struble motion to approve, it should be inordinate spending in the amount of $44.55 approved unanimously. Kind of need in there what vehicle that was for and what was being done with it. Then there's a part that says Commissioner Struble motion to approve yearly updates for in-home services. No, excuse me. Commissioner Struble motion to approve travel request at the amount of $0 approved unanimously. Doesn't say really who it's for or what we're doing there.
And how much?
I believe that one's probably Heather's, because she has that monthly
Right.
meeting.
Probably need to say.
Do you
it
need to
there.
put, do you want the 0 amount on there, or
Yeah, 0 is fine, because it was, remember she was gonna go ride with somebody.
she rides with somebody? Okay, so just put it for the health department.
Yep.
Okay.
Or Heather in the health department, that way
I
we
can do
know
that.
who's supposed to do that.
And I got a question
Sure.
about our meeting this morning. We didn't have a recording secretary there.
I was the only one in the office. I couldn't,
Well, but the thing is, we have to, because we have to have somebody there, because the mail or the message was sent out last week, it was gonna have all 3 commissioners there, I don't know what day you sent it.
Right.
So if we're not gonna have a recording secretary there, then somebody needs to send us something before we have a meeting.
I didn't know until this morning. My son was sick and puking, and so, and my deputy didn't notify me until this morning as well that she wasn't gonna be there. So I had to open the office, I had to get this updated, and had to get it all turned on and set up. You know, I can only do so much, I'm only one person. And so, like I said, we had a lot of stuff going against us today, otherwise I would have been in there. My plan was to, and I had emailed Amy about it, saying I'm sorry.
We had minutes, Amy took the minutes, but I mean.
Right, no, I don't disagree. Like I said, I could not.
Maybe it wouldn't hurt for Amy to be deputized to fill in for that position.
Because we have to, I mean.
Right, and that's part of the other reason that I would like that third person is to help, and I kind of was talking to Shonda about that. We've got a lot of stuff coming from legislature right now regarding changes to election, you know, sending it out earlier, which then also goes into play with tax abstracts. I have to focus on that, and I have to get those done in a timely manner because you're overlapping with other counties. So they can't be waiting weeks on end for me because there's only 2 of us. We're having to do elections on top of me trying to get the tax abstract. And that third person also to help us alleviate with the deed situation because of all the sales. We got behind on the trend when Hannah was the only one at the time. We hadn't had the chance because of all the COVID. People were on quarantine, as you guys know, on quarantine almost left and right because the kids were getting quarantined all the time at the end of last year. So we didn't even get enough time to really cross-train everything. And deeds, there's a lot to it. It's not like some little tiny, I mean, that's something we have to do too. We're mandated to have 3 different people, the deeds office, the appraisers, and us. We all have to have books. And so we got behind. We had end of year, and then we had that transition when you guys took AP and Hannah out. So then I hadn't learned yet. I had got passed over, and I had asked several years before, can I learn this? Can I learn this? Well, Hannah already knew it, so that's why they went ahead and allowed her to do it. So now I have the information, and I'm working every day to get it. I spent all day yesterday looking at legal descriptions, trying to find the quick references so I can get everything updated and try to get it up to date.
As far as the minutes go, I mean, like Brian said, you can, could you deputize like, I don't know, Amy or Shonda? I mean, if you're not gonna be there.
That's what the third person would be too. They would be deputized to take it as well.
Or Hannah.
But what happens on the days when you're not in that office? Nobody's in that office during the week. I know I've been here at least once and there wasn't anybody here. So, I mean, like.
That would help. There would be a third person if somebody was sick and things. I can't control when my kids vomiting.
I'm not saying that.
I'm just saying, and that's kind of what's happening is these kids, kids are getting sick. I've gotten sick. you know, I have stuff I have to get done, I have doctor's appointments
Oh, I
and
get it,
checkups
yeah.
like everybody else, so I have to be able to go to those as well. So
So
that's
has-
where that third person is
Has
coming
Hannah
from.
offered to help you on the deeds?
Well,
So
yes, she's given me some information on how to get those, and that's why I've been working so hard. The stack was this thick,
Okay, so then the other question I have for you is,
so.
so we had somebody deputized to do minutes.
Mhm.
To me, this is your office, you're fully elected, you can make those decisions, but as you sit in here all day long, some days or half a day or whatever,
Yep.
it seems to me that this time would be better utilized for your position to be in your office with the door opened up. And I hate to kick a dead horse, but we had somebody deputized in here to take those minutes, so you could be in your office, or so Ruth could be in that office. The other question I have is, how long has Hannah been over taking care of AP and stuff over here? Has it been a month yet?
Month.
Yeah.
How long have those deeds sat in your office?
And she had worked on them too. That's the thing.
So how far back are they?
I've been working in February. I got it caught up to February. So I'm getting through them. It's just when you have, even the deeds were behind. Audrey and I talked about this. She said, they're getting them in because those, you know this, the market was hot. We were selling real estate left and right. Houses were
And you're getting
selling.
caught up.
And we're getting caught up on
So
all
good
that.
job. Why do you need that third person?
I need that third person, not only because of deputization for the minutes, because I do feel like I should be utilizing my time in there. I have a lot of open records requests. We have monthly open records requests from some departments. I'm still struggling with getting people to communicate when they get them, because the state's coming down and they're wanting to do across the board mandates on that and change, there's litigation on that as well. I asked Richard about juvenile housing. I don't know why, I kind of know why it got put on us. We're trying to recoup money that the county's paid out. So we have to go and send numerous letters and all that to try to get money from parents when their kid have went to juvenile housing, and we have to pay for it, because we have to pay for that, the county does. So we're trying to recoup the money, but we're not attorneys either. So I had talked to him about that, so he wants to hire another attorney to help litigate that portion, because I'm not an attorney, I'm not familiar with the laws of juvenile housing, so that's another thing that is placed on the clerk's office because somebody wasn't doing it.
So we had Matt Ricky hired and he was doing some of that stuff.
He was, and from what I had before, he's not doing it anymore. I don't know if he took on some other stuff, but he's no longer doing that.
So he collected the easy ones that we could get collected.
He collected what he could, and there's still some I think that they were collecting on, but they're not taking on anymore. So.
And see, that was supposed to change, whereas we.
And I can't do any, that's, you know, I can only ask, you know, them, hey, I asked, it doesn't make sense for me to be doing this. I'm not an attorney. I don't know the laws and all that regarding it. But back to budgets and the third person, R&Rs, because of that new, we have to send out notices just like the tax statements. It's the same amount of tax statements. So either I have to pay thousands of dollars that I don't have the budget for to have Coastal Law City do it, or I'm gonna have to do it in-house, which means I'm gonna have to have somebody folding and putting them in envelopes to mail out. Because that's a new thing in legislature as well, that they only let us by last year not having to mail them out, but we're gonna have to this year.
So is that a
every
function that
instance-
has to happen in the clerk's office, folding letters and putting in envelopes?
When does that happen?
I don't know who else would have the time to be able to do all of
When does
the,
that happen?
that happens midway through, like when you guys are doing budgets and stuff.
In
When you-
December?
That's what it,
We talked about some part-time people.
So I think part-time would be a better option than a full-time person.
and on top of that, elections, I have to be able to train poll workers. We had issues last year where one of our workers couldn't work. So we had to take over and we had to be there. So then that alleviates, if I'm on the ballot, I want to make sure that I'm just watching and overseeing things and not necessarily being in there just for everybody. I don't want, you know what I mean? I'm just trying to be that transparent with them. And elections is very, very time consuming too. We have, and that's why I said I need that third person. It's always been a third person office.
Doesn't mean it always has to be a third person.
I didn't say that, but it's already been by all the others, because anything else I've ever discussed with the three of you was, well, the previous person said this. So I'm telling you, they said it's needed, and I feel as well as necessary. I can't get all of my duties done if I'm constantly being bombarded.
Okay, but Cheryl Edelhart also knew that it was needed to have somebody deputized to be in here taking minutes, so she could be focusing on what was going on in the clerk's office to take care of things there. That's not something you have chosen to follow. So if we're trying to listen to you to justify all this, and then you just said something just like that about following previous clerks' decisions on what they like,
I'm just
you
explaining.
didn't stick with it.
But that was her choice. I don't feel that, Shauna is still pretty new, and Hannah, I don't know what all she's had to do. I know scanning and all that takes a lot of time as well. So I'm not trying to put a burden from my office on another office. I'm just telling you, you allow everybody else to go through and go over budgets, and nobody gets in trouble for it. I'm just asking that I can please have that third person, because we do utilize 3 people in that office. It is necessary. If you've seen, when there's a 1-person office, then it's just shut down. When it's a 2-person office, then that place is shut down. So this is a way for us to help our residents by keeping the door open, because we're not quarantining like back in 21. And there's a lot of training that we need to go through as well.
And I may be wrong, but we took the AP, the payroll, and the phones, which I thought that was essentially the one person's job in there.
No. It was a 2-person job, and you have to have that, because you have to have that.
So you had 2 people, you had 2 people doing the same job then?
No, we had 2 different people. One was doing one, and one was doing the other. You know, part of the problem too is I wish you guys would just have said, hey, I don't even know what the reasoning behind moving. I know I asked for the phones because I thought, well, it's ringing, ringing, ringing. It makes more sense if everybody just pushes a number. And residents have said, can I just push the number? And I'm like, they're not on that list of the first however many that was decided back when. I didn't have that choice.
Well,
but
I think Darren's point is though, so you take 3 or 4 jobs from that office with 1 person, but now you're still not being able to get everything else done.
But I'm getting more stuff. You're not understanding. So there's a lot more to it with the legislature and all the stuff coming through. I didn't have that last year. I didn't have to do R&Rs and all that other stuff. And with, like I said, with
before
election.
COVID you did, or whatever. I mean,
no,
so
revenue
what you're
survey
saying is
just
though if you
started.
had the 3rd person in there, you need a 4th person.
No, I just need 3 people, full-time people in
But
the
you
office,
took
including
3 or
myself.
4 jobs from that office to put over here.
No, you guys took
Well, we
2.
did, but my point is, 3 or 4 jobs with 1 person, and now you still can't get everything done. I don't understand that.
There's a lot more to it now than you guys understand. Plus, I am
There might be.
learning.
There might be.
Plus, I'm learning. You have to realize that, because my predecessor didn't teach me everything either. I'm having to learn half this stuff on my own. I'm having to read and try to find where she put stuff.
I'm not sitting here knocking
No,
you.
no,
I'm
no,
just-
no, no, I'm
As
just
a
saying.
simple farmer, you take 1 person out with 3 or 4 jobs, put them over here. Yes, we did that. But now you still need the 3rd person.
Yes.
It doesn't make sense.
So I see what you're saying, essentially we would need 4 in there. 'Cause we got
No, I only need 3. I need one other full-time person.
Okay.
When Hannah left, were the deeds caught up?
No.
How far behind were they when Hannah walked out of your office?
I couldn't tell you how far. And like I said, we were doing end of year at that time. So the focus was we had to, because we're state's required to get 1099s, and when you guys made your decision, I had to then step in and finish up all the 1099s by myself and upload and get it to the state.
Okay, and the other thing is you keep bringing up this legislature stuff.
Yes,
What is that? Explain it to me.
Kansas legislature, they're passing bills requiring more and more duties, essentially.
On you.
Yeah, the R&R.
So-
Last year, they didn't require us to mail out the mailings. This year, anybody that goes over, we have to mail those out
Anybody
to all the residents that are in that area. So if the county does it, then everybody that gets a tax statement regularly has to get an R&R too.
What's an R&R?
It's a revenue neutral rate. It's when you go above that revenue neutral rate when you guys are doing your budgeting.
And what's that amount to?
I don't know what your guys' is off the top of my head.
So what's, I mean, as far as I'm working on.
I don't do the budget. That is Shonda who does the budget, and I
Okay, so
wasn't allowed to do
you said the
budgets.
extra legislature
Yes.
stuff.
Requires us to mail out to every resident.
Okay, what's that required time-wise?
I don't know yet.
So it may not even justify a third
It
person.
would justify, I'm not just saying just that. I'm also saying elections is a big requirement as well. They're
Okay.
wanting to.
Yeah,
So the legislature thing you brought up, let's continue with that. So there's the one about the R&R.
Yeah, and they're
Okay,
wanting
so
to then
If
move up.
you do that, that may take, what, a week to prepare that much to get sent out?
2 weeks, a month?
I don't,
Where's
I,
that? Sheena?
honestly, I can't tell you,
I'm
because
just
I
trying to
have
break
to.
down what the
Well, I
justification
have
of
to
the
look
third
to see
position
how
is.
many, I won't know until budgets come through, how many I have to send out.
Okay, so maybe we're a little premature in asking for this third position, because if you
I
don't
don't feel
know,
so.
we're gonna hire a third position with benefits, all the retirement, all the insurance, all that
Yep.
stuff. So far you've told me maybe one, maybe even a month, I'll be generous on that, a month worth of extra work. So we're gonna pay all that salary, all that $45,000 worth of benefits, salary, all that to that person, and I'm probably closer to 50 at this point.
Well,
For
it's
1
about 6
month
months
work.
for elections. We spend half the year working on elections, during elections, just getting it all prepared, because you have to go through and do all the computer stuff. We have to, we hand do everything now.
So maybe a part-time
Nobody comes
position.
in and does anything regarding that. Everything's paper, so we have to have it counted again the day before we move anything out. There's just, like I said, there's a lot of things that, you know, I'm not here to argue with you.
No,
I'm just trying to
we're trying
explain
to learn it too.
my position and what all it entails. And I would hope that I've been here long enough as a deputy and an employee of Harper County that you would, respect that I know what I'm talking about in my office, and I feel like it's a lot of disrespect that no matter what I say when I come in here, that
No, we're listening.
but it's your attitudes towards me. You guys can't look me in the eye, except for Jeff. He does look me in the eye when he talks to me. But
Oh, I've looked you in the eye every time I've talked to you.
I just would like to,
So,
the way I just watch how you guys interact, and I've had people comment on it outside of here when they see you with, oh, hey buddy, all this stuff. But when it comes to me, I'm like the Grinch, and you guys are like, oh, don't talk to her. Except for Jeff, he's been great about saying hello, and I appreciate that more than you know. Making me feel like a human being and not a second-rate citizen.
so
So thank you
What
for
do-
that, Jeff.
what does your office do? Give me daily or weekly, what duties do you do?
More than just a third position, because we've always had a third position. I'm kind of with
So-
Derek.
We
I
have
wanted to-
deeds that we
Show
do
me
every
take-
week. I have monthly
Hang on a minute, these,
monthly
monthly,
reports. We also handle all the open records requests. We have to do and collect all the money for the candidates. I have to mail out and send out the ads for all the elections. Then we have to update the newspaper once we actually get people that do come in. We do also need another notary regarding that as well, because we have to notarize all the paperwork now since everybody else is
so I got deeds,
deeds.
open reports,
We have
ads for
elections.
elections.
July abstract, November abstract. Let's see, I have to do, actually I can just pull up my job description of the KCCOA.
Well, I mean, just.
Open meetings, I have to make
you're
sure the
gonna
regulations on open meetings,
Record,
recording. We upload all those minutes and update that, as well as putting it on our website so people can access the YouTube video. Let's see, and we're also the freedom of information, which is part of the open records. I'm supposed to keep pretty much most of the records from what it says, so from the
how
statute.
many open records requests do you get in a month, or 2 months, or week?
Weekly, and usually it's not just one department. It's usually something that requires, for example, if they need audio from dispatch, they'll need the reports from,
And you guys
the
got-
sheriff's office, so I have to facilitate that because there is a deadline. You only have so many days that you are able to, you have to respond within so many days, which is part of the reason they have the freedom of information officer and as one person.
And I kind of suspected during election time it would be a little stressful.
And then we have the budgets for all the townships. I do have a gentleman that comes in and helps us, or helps them get their budgets together, but all that stuff I have to upload and then put into PDD, the census. We do the census for them as well, for the entities.
So, my next question is,
Road vacations, I do those as well.
part-time employees? Would that be a benefit?
I don't know that it would necessarily be a benefit because, especially during election time, if that person starts, let's say they start now, I'd be afraid because election is the first election is in August. Well, I don't know how long it's gonna take, and if I have to do 3 audits like they're discussing in the legislature instead of just 2 or 1, then, that's gonna be more time, and I would hate, to not be out of a person because we hit that 1,000 mark, and that's what, I don't know with all the new stuff coming through, which is why I'm coming to you guys now, because I've been listening to the legislature, I've been talking to the clerks and other clerks and how important it is and how much stuff is possibly going to be laid upon us because of the changes that they're wanting to make.
But a part-time person would be better than nothing. Like doing you're sealing your envelopes and doing this and doing that.
That could be
simple stuff,
And I have done that for other offices if they had somebody who was new. I have the treasurer's office, when they had an issue with, when they were having their tax statements and that person, they weren't able to train them right away. So I had given them some, some piddly things that I thought, they could push this. We also do the daily statements from the treasurer's office. We have to be the double check for that. We have to keep records of that as well. And then I keep the track of the transfers that come through, the books for that as well. We process the out of abatements that come. We don't normally process anything with the out of abates. Usually comes from the appraiser's office, and then we print it, we give it to you guys approve it, we push a button, it goes over to the treasurer's office so they can apply it.
Okay. What do you got there?
Nothing, I'm just writing all this down, we gotta think about it, time-wise.
Okay, so December transfers, guys, we've changed subject, maybe get this done out here. December transfers total is $830,819.32. I do need a motion for that. That's a total of December transfers. Looks like a whole bunch of stuff. Register of deeds budget to capital reserve, AP correction for K-9 food, AP payroll, error, benefit exempt from department bonus, correction of line items, payroll, cost center change, voided check balance, $30 return check fees collected, voided check, blah, blah, blah. You wanna look at that there? Jeff, you wanna look at that? Public transportation, capital equipment reserves.
Yeah, be careful,
This whole
Kevin doesn't want to stay in that book. There's so many.
That's packed.
Yep.
So get that one in a second, but while you're doing that, January transfers, total in the amount of $997.59.
I'm good with that. Is
What
that
was it?
come from you and?
What was it?
$997.59.
That's for what?
January transfers.
I just run the report.
So that's the total after we do all that stuff, remember every
Yeah,
week.
every so.
Jeff made the motion, all in favor?
Aye.
And that way you guys can always look at those. I have them sitting on the shelf if you ever have questions about a transfer.
Okay.
Because I'll go and pull them from the daily statement if I don't get a copy of it too, so.
February transfers in the amount of $3,096.40.
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
Who made the December one? I did not catch it. Was it Jeff?
Yeah.
Okay. You made both of the, okay. Thank you. And normally they wouldn't be this far behind, but I didn't want, I know Linda does, and Shonda did a lot of year-end transfers, so I didn't want to have any issues or have to redo anything for it, so.
AP, let's do that right quick so we can finish up that.
You want to see that there?
One question I had on AP is, it looks like maybe this is more of a personnel deal, but we wrote, we're paying an employee that bought sanding disc, cut-off tool, cutting wheels. Do you know anything about that on Road and Bridge, why we paid that employee instead of one of our vendors that we usually use?
I don't know how there needs to be more checks and balances to put behind them. You know, so I don't know how you're gonna do that, but whenever I was there, I know it puts more people on, but the foreman's the only one allowed to go use it.
Well, and I know we have other employees besides the foreman who pick stuff up, but usually it's to Bulldog Supply or Ricky's or Home Lumber or something like that. So
Is Mike still down there? Is that down at Amy's? I might text because he was in down there Mach.
And you're saying it's just a person, I didn't read
I
it.
see him.
yeah, it's like the second one down in that page.
But I think it needs to be where the foreman, I know it puts a little more on, but you know, like Mike, he's always in Anthony somewhere and just let him know when he needs to pick up.
It just, that doesn't look good.
That does not look good.
And I'm not that I don't trust what's going on, but I just don't know why everything else goes to Ricky's and gets charged to Ricky's or Home Lumber, you know what I mean, like co-op or John Deere or whatever, and then all of a sudden this shows up and,
Do you need the voucher to see who it went to?
oh
Like
no.
who they bought it
Was it
from?
now?
We went to
Would
this.
that help? No, because it would go, the payment would be to the person, right?
Yeah.
Does it show what company or where they?
No,
No, okay.
I just asked her to have it
Unless
just
she can grab the,
just the person. That's a little odd, that doesn't, like Brian said, that does not look good.
December transfers, like I said, that's some yearly type stuff from capital equipment reserves, that type of stuff. Looks like the biggest ones were from mill levy to capital equipment reserves. Those were some of the biggest ones. Home ticket to employee benefits, that type of stuff. Those were the big ones.
Hannah said it was Northern Tool in Wichita, so they must have been
They
up
probably
there
picked
for
it up
something
and had to pay him back.
and had to, yeah.
Oh, could be.
He paid for it and had to pay him back.
All right, can I get a motion for this? You got it then. Okay. Can I get a motion for the December? Thank you, Hannah.
So many.
All in favor? Aye. Mike's gonna come over right now.
That's weird. You got it.
Oh, well, she's already saying
That's
that.
just pick it up and have to be paid back. Let me see that.
Gonna make it? Gonna make it?
Yep. I'm gonna make it. Oh, my car's sitting out front. That car's fixed on.
You hope it's there. I thought it'd be raining by now, but I don't.
They said no.
We're there.
It's gonna start raining right now.
As soon as I get out my car.
They didn't, it was raining then, Bill paid last morning.
I know it's sprinkled here.
No, not raining hard, but I was gonna have them spray and they couldn't spray. More fertilizer, either one.
That's her time.
She says he's.
But I was going to town coming here and it poured.
Well, that's my car has some stuff on it when I got stuff out. Hey, Mike, you just had one question there, and Hannah pretty well answered it by the time you walked over here. But
Okay.
there's an employee getting reimbursed for some stuff that was bought up at Northern Tool, I guess.
On AP.
And so we figured that out. He was getting reimbursed for some supplies and stuff, and we thought that didn't look real good. But then she justified that and said he must have been up to Wichita.
Oh, yes.
You probably had to pay for it out of pocket.
Yeah, actually, I paid him back already. He was waiting for the reimbursement.
We got it figured on your walk over here. You just needed the exercise, Mike. Thanks.
We just missed you that
Are
much.
you finished there?
I am finished.
Are you finished?
Pretty busy day.
Sean, are you finished?
I'm done, yes.
Jason?
Kelsey, you finished?
Alright, I don't have any more.
Meeting adjourned then.
So what are you thinking, Jace? Tomorrow, next day?